Hey guys, welcome. I hope all of you are fine and taking care of yourself during this pandemic times. Now today I am here to solve your doubt. The first question is already on your screen. Let's have a look. The question says, in photoelectric effect, the work function of a metal is 3.5 electron volt. The emitted electrons can be stopped by applying a potential of minus 1.2 volt. Then there are four options given to you. You have to find the correct option. The first two options are speaking about energy, and the second and the third one is about frequency, and the third one is about energy. Let's have a look. Now see, it's already given that the work function here is 3.5 electron volt. Okay, now remember, the photoelectric equation is nothing but the equation of conservation of energy. So if you are incidenting h mu amount of energy, this is the total energy given. Some part of the energy is taken by the electrons to come to the surface of the metal, so that is my work function. Okay, and the rest part of the energy is given as kinetic energy to the electrons. So I can write here ek. Now in this question, 5 values already given in electron volt. I have to find the kinetic energy. Now it is there in the question that minus 1.2 volt is capable of stopping the most energetic electron, because they have said that it is the stopping potential. See, emitted electrons can be stopped by applying a potential of minus 1.2 volt. So we know here that suppose there are two plates, this is a negative plate and this is a positive plate, and if there is a difference of 1.2 volt, if I accelerate one electron, then the energy gained by the electron will be 1.2 electron volt. So in this case, since the stopping potential is 1.2 volt, we can say that the kinetic energy is 1.2 electron volt. So I have written that. Now I will do simple addition. It will come 4.7 if I add. Yes. So 4.7 electron volt is the total energy which was given. Okay. So my answer is option A. Moving to the second question. Yes, the second question is on your screen. It is a graph of stopping potential versus frequency. You can see here along y-axis the value of stopping potential is plotted, and along x-axis you have the frequency in 10 to the power of 14 hertz. Okay. Now look very carefully, the graph is just starting from this 5, value 5 into 10 to the power of 14 hertz. Below 5 there is no graph, means there was no photoelectric emission. That means what? When frequency was below 5 into 10 to the power of 14 hertz, there was no photoelectric emission. So from this graph we come to know that the threshold frequency, the minimum frequency which was needed to initiate photoelectric effect is 5 into 10 to the power of 14 hertz. Okay. Now we can very easily find the threshold wavelength. Now whatever electromagnetic wave was incident, its speed is going to be the speed of light only. So 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Now we can apply this formula. Velocity is equal to frequency into wavelength, where lambda naught is the threshold wavelength. So lambda naught is c by nu naught. Let us do this calculation. 3 into 10 to the power of 8 divided by 5 into 10 to the power of 14. 3 by 5 will come 0.6, all of us know, and this will come, let's calculate, 0.6 into 10 to the power of, yes, this will come 6, 10 to the power of 6, which can also be written as 6 into 10 to the power of, sorry, minus 6, 10 to the power of minus 7 meter. So this option is my option A, 6000 angstrom. So you know the relation, 1 angstrom is equal to 10 to the power of minus 10 meter. So going by this calculation, my answer is 6000 angstrom. Okay. So this is my option B. Answer is my option B. Moving to the third question. Yes, all of us have a look in this on the screen. There are 4 graphs given. Which one of the following graph represents the variation of maximum kinetic energy of the emitted electrons with frequency in photoelectric effect correctly? So which one is the correct nature of the graph? It is showing a graph of frequency versus it is showing the graph of kinetic energy versus frequency. Fine, let us do it. Let us once again start with the equation, photoelectric effect equation. We know H nu, the incident energy, is equal to work function plus the kinetic energy of the electrons. Okay. Now here let us make kinetic energy the subject of the formula and see what I am getting. H nu minus phi. Let us shuffle it and write like this, minus phi plus H nu. Now all of us know that phi is my threshold, okay, threshold energy, which is H nu naught. Let us write that, minus H nu naught plus H nu. So can you see this equation is of the form y equals to mx plus c. Have a look. Kinetic energy I have plotted along y axis. Okay, just a minute, this is constant, so this part is my c. Let me write, yes, this part is c and this part is mx. So that is why along x axis I am plotting my nu and along y axis I am plotting my ek. So look very carefully, the y intercept is coming negative, right? C is minus H nu naught. So the nature of this graph will be a straight line, but it will not pass through the origin. It will have a y intercept and a negative y intercept. So definitely the graph is looking like this. So let's check. First let us write, this is the y intercept. Which option is this? Yes, this is my option D. So option D is my correct answer. Now moving to the fourth question, it is already on the screen. You can see which of the plots shown in the figure represents speed of the electron in an hydrogen atom as a function of principal quantum number. So you have to find the relation between velocity and the principal quantum number. Have a look. Let us draw a rough diagram. Say this is my nucleus and there is electron revolving around the nucleus in circular path. In case of hydrogen there is only one electron. Now see, when this electron is moving in circular path, there is centripetal force which is acting towards the center. So this centripetal force is actually provided by the electrostatic force of attraction between your nucleus and the electron. So going by the formula of electrostatics, K times first charge second charge by distance square. My first charge is the charge of electron, second charge is just charge of one electron divided by the distance square. In this case my distance is r only, the radius of the orbit. We know from electrostatics K is 1 by 4 times epsilon naught. We don't need it, so I'm just writing K over here. Let's calculate further. See, one of the R is getting cancelled. We are left with mv square is K times Ze square. Let us keep it handy. So this is my equation 1. Again, according to the Bohr's postulate, all of us know that the angular momentum of this electron mvr is n times h by 2 pi, where n is your principal quantum number and the value of n ranges from 1, 2, 3 and so on. Okay. Now see, from here, say this is my equation 2. I have equation 1 and 2 with me. From these two equations I have to find out the relation between velocity and n. So what I will do here is, let me modify equation 2. I'll write mv equals to nh by 2 pi r, and let me call this equation 2. Okay, this is my equation 2. Now from 1 and 2, let us square 1 and 2 and divide. Let us square and divide. Let's see what we get. M square v to the power of 4 divided by m square v square k square z square e to the power of 4. Sorry, I missed this r over here. One r is there in denominator, r square, and this will be 4 pi square r square by n square h square. Now look very carefully, m square and m square is getting cancelled. V square is remaining here. Look very carefully on the right hand side, right? In this case I am getting v square is equal to 1 by n square. Let me keep separately, and whatever is left apart from 1 by n square, if you look carefully, all these are my constant values. See, check here, k, z, e, pi, all are my constant value. So I have got this relation, v square is proportional to 1 by n square, or v, here my v is proportional to, inversely proportional to n. So what do you think, what will be the nature of the graph? It will be a rectangular hyperbola. This will be the nature because it is inverse relation. So let us see which option. Yes, it is curve B, option A. Okay, so answer is my option A. Now moving to the fifth question. This is slightly different. This is based on motional EMF and electromagnetic induction. The question says, the figure shows a certain wire segment joined together to form a coplanar loop. Let me draw a bigger figure. Yes, this is my figure. I am drawing a bigger figure. If you see slightly, there is a cut over here, so I am highlighting that. So this is my loop, and it is in a region in which the magnetic field is directed downwards. Crosses means the magnetic field is directed downwards. Okay. Now the magnitude of the field increases with time. So this is a time varying magnetic field. I1 and I2 are the currents in the segment AB and CD. Fine. So this is my AB and this is my CD. In loop AB my current is I1, and in my loop CD the current is my I2. I don't know the direction, that is why I am not marking it now. Now see, there are 4 options given. Which one is correct? Have a look over here. Here the magnetic field is directed downwards. Okay, so according to Lenz's law, the current will be produced in such a direction so as to oppose the cause. What is the cause here? The cause is the magnetic field which is directed downwards. So according to Lenz's law, the current will be produced in such a way to produce a magnetic field upwards to oppose it. So to produce that magnetic field upwards, current has to flow anti-clockwise, right? According to my right hand screw rule, when current will flow anti-clockwise, my magnetic field will be directed outwards, out of the plane of the paper. So in the frame CD, the current will flow in anti-clockwise direction. If you see carefully, it is actually the same current which is flowing in the frame AB also. So if in CD it is I2, okay, that same current is actually flowing inside AB. So that I can call as I1, because in question they have said it is I1. So from here the diagram is clear, right? So for CD loop the current is in this direction, and for AB loop the current is in this direction. So my fourth option is correct. I1 is in direction AB and I2 is in direction CD. So D is my correct option. I hope you have understood my explanation and I have solved your doubts successfully. Thank you.